Hello everyone, it's me, Monica P. Hall, and it is time for our weekly messages for the collective. So this week's message is about truth. What's the problem with truth? Why can't we handle the truth? What is up with our relationship with the truth? That's what we're going to be talking about. But first, if you have been enjoying the messages that I've been giving on this channel, please make sure you're subscribing to the channel. Also, if you get to the end, if and when you get to the end of this video, make sure you're hitting the like button and make sure that you are commenting. I do read the comments. I absolutely appreciate all of you who are commenting, and you know I answer you, therefore you know that I read them. Finally, if you've been with me for a while and you're wondering whether or not you should be getting a psychic reading with me, whether or not you should be getting a Reiki session with me, whether or not you need a little bit of mentoring on your spiritual journey as a light worker or starseed, you absolutely can go to my website, conduitofhealing.com/appointments, and make sure you schedule your free, that's right, your free consultation. And so that just gives us a chance to get to know each other. You can tell me about, what it is you're looking to do, and I can give you guidance on which service that you need. All right? So let's dive into this whole thing on truth. Yeah, what's up with that? Let's see what the crew has to say. Yes, reading. I know last week it looked like I wasn't reading the message, but turns out I had to scroll to a different page. So that's what that was about. All right, here we go. People fear the truth because it forces them to let go of ego and live in reality. Most people do not want to live in a space where they must respect the fact that what they want isn't always possible if it involves another person's free will. Truth frees you while also holding you accountable for your choices. Truth forces you to be authentic. Therefore, many say they view truth as a friend while treating it as an enemy. Let me explain something to all of you. I just want to say this because what the crew has said is 1000% the truth. We have a poor relationship with truth because truth is not always going to allow you to have whatever you want. Truth means sometimes you will have to take no for an answer. Truth means you will have to accept that perhaps the person that you want doesn't want you. Truth means you will have to accept you're not good at everything you apply yourself to. Truth means that you will have to own your choices and deal with the consequences therein. And this, everyone, she, him, they, everyone, is why people like you call people like me. Sometimes as a last resort, sometimes because you've gotten in your way for so long that you need, an outside party with clarity to help give you guidance and to give you insight to yourself, to your behavior, to your shadow self that may or may not be self-destructive. Ego doesn't really like the truth. And let's just face it, most of us living unconsciously are serving our ego. We're not serving our best and highest good. So we don't like being told words like no. We don't like being rejected. We don't like being reminded of our shortcomings. We don't like criticism. But you must ask yourself, are these things true about me? And why is that important? So listen. A lot of people are out there living lies because they are more interested in impressing people who really don't care about them that much than they are with building a loving and honest relationship with themselves. To the point where, you may find yourself romantically involved with someone who really doesn't care very much about you at all, but they enjoy the attention that you pay to them. You may find yourself working at a job that's utterly thankless, but hey, they're not going to fire you because, well, you know what? They need somebody in that role. So it's like, you're good at your job. We'll let you stay there, but we're not going to give you a raise, and we're not going to promote you, and we're not going to acknowledge the fact that really you're making positive contributions here and you probably deserve better than we're giving you. You need to understand your relationship with truth is the difference between happiness and misery. And why can I say it so simply? Why am I so confident about that? Because, the truth of the matter is that we have not been taught to really accept who we are. We've been taught to hide who we are. And where does that start? It starts at home. It starts in your childhood, obviously. The truth of who you are may not have been pleasing to your parents or whomever raised you, and you got that message through either them just telling you, things straight out. I don't like your hair. You're too fat. You're too thin. You're too dumb. You're not smart enough. You're not athletic enough. Or it may have been, subtle messages like, wow, haven't you eaten enough? Or something like, if you just keep working hard at that sport, you'll eventually be good at it. Or you deserve the world. You're my little prince, my little princess. It's not the truth. You may actually be terrible at sports, but you actually might be really smart and very academically gifted. And rather than accepting that perhaps you're not good at sports, but academically gifted, a parent might force you into trying out for, teams that you don't want to try out for, force you into, playing a role of a jock when you're really a nerd. And by the way, as a nerd, there's nothing wrong with being smart. If there were more smart people on the planet in charge, I'm just saying, perhaps there would be a wee bit less drama. I'm just saying. But I have to tell people all the time in my work, listen, you might be carrying the voice of someone else and torturing yourself with it. Someone who's saying, you're not good enough, when the truth of the matter is you may not be good at the thing that would have pleased them. But if you actually look at the truth of what your talents are, what your abilities are, what you have an aptitude for, and if you did those things, it's likely that you will be happier because you won't have to kind of twist and turn yourself into someone or something that you simply are not. All right? So it starts at a very, very young age and kind of gets reinforced with other relationships, whether it's our friends, whether it's seeking popularity in school, seeking to be the golden boy, golden girl, that it person, whatever that means. What if your talents don't lend themselves to petty things like popularity? What if your talents leads you to something like curing a disease? What if your talent leads you to something outside of the box like, hello, what I'm doing? What if that's your talent? What if that's your purpose? What if that's your reasoning for being here? But rather than honoring that, loving yourself for that, and serving yourself and the world in that capacity, you allow yourself to have other voices outside of you that are saying, or sometimes outright, or sometimes subtle messages saying, who you are is not good enough. You need to be something else in order to get my approval, in order to get my love, in order to get my respect. So, yes, the truth is one of those things that honestly just is. So let's give an example, right, of you living your authentic self, you living in your truth. Let's start with the relationships, right? Because I get love readings all the time. I get people seeking clarity and guidance all the time. All right, let's call it a relationship, right? You have been with someone off and on for years, and you want this person, and but for some reason the two of you cannot get things together, for whatever reason. And then so you're seeking counseling, you're seeking the answer, like, why? I do this right, I do that right, I'm there for them. Why don't they love me? Why isn't it working? Well, there's a truth in there, and it's a truth that you're not dealing with. You're treating people or a person with kindness, you're loving them, you're doing the stuff for them, you're allowing them to treat you however, whenever, does not entitle you to love. That's the truth. I'll give you a moment with that, because so many of you think that because you turn yourself into a pretzel for someone else, because you're kind to them, because you are there from them when they need someone, that it entitles you to their love, and that it entitles you to their attention, and in some cases it entitles you to their life. A lot of people have gotten married under false pretenses. Somebody wanted somebody and felt like they were entitled to that person. And some of you are out there in relationships due to obligation rather than love. What's the truth? Just because you love me doesn't mean I have to love you in the same kind of way. Just because you have certain affections for me does not mean you're entitled to have those affections returned by me. You understand what I'm saying? That's the truth. So if you loved yourself enough, you wouldn't want to be in a relationship with someone who obviously doesn't want you in that way. But you do that, don't you? A lot of you do that, don't you? You turn yourselves inside out, trying to get that person, trying to get that thing, trying to get that opportunity. And when it doesn't happen, you have the audacity to be mad at the other person as if they didn't get the assignment. No, it's not them. They're not the problem. The problem is you refuse to see all the red flags. You refuse to see that they don't have the same kind of feelings for you. And sometimes, in some cases, you refuse to listen to them say, I'm sorry, this isn't what I want. When you hear this isn't what I want, a lot of you are out there literally arguing with these people. Well, maybe not right now. Maybe in the future. Maybe, like what will it take? What can I do to make you change your mind? Are we listening to ourselves when we do this? What can I do to make you change your mind? That's a violation of free will. Are you aware? Are you aware that's a violation of free will when you seek to change somebody else's mind about something they're being completely honest about? Now we're in the realm of manipulation. You are now left the realm, if you will, of love, and now you're into manipulation. People, nothing good will come from you violating somebody else's free will. Let me say that again. Nothing good will come from you violating someone else's free will. There is no reward that you want from that. What you're asking for is chaos. What you're asking for is drama. What you're asking for is to get hurt. All of this could be avoided if you just accept the truth in the beginning. Now, that is not to say that the truth won't hurt your feelings. Of course, oh my God, I want this person, I want to be with them, and they don't want to be with me. Yes, that hurts my feelings. I get that. But that hurt you can heal from. Horrible marriages, children, money, time wasted, youth wasted, sanity, upended. Yeah, upended. You know what I'm saying? All all the things that come with a lie is never going to be worth it. Now, I know that a lot of you want to be upset at the other person for not playing along with your self delusion, but you really should be upset with yourself because you had a choice in the beginning to just look at the situation and go, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. So many of us, right, have such poor relationships with who we are that we don't accept our true selves. And therefore, we go out into the world and we live our lives according to the expectations of society, of our families, of our friends, of a job, of our children, of our parents, and on and on and on. Meanwhile, there's a soul living inside of you going, when is it going to be my turn? When do I get to fully express myself? When do I get to, wave my freak flag of, hi, I'm a nerd. I'm extremely smart. I'm really not, interested in sports. I'm not interested in shallow things. I enjoy, conversations, all things nerdy, whatever your thing is. If you continue to serve other people's expectations for you, you are consciously choosing to lie every single day to yourself and to other people, and then expecting to be happy at the end of all of that. I don't know about you, but I see a lack of logic here. Sometimes we don't want to accept the truth of ourselves because we're under the impression that we aren't good enough. And the truth is that perhaps the situation's not good enough for us. Am I making sense? Like, how many of you out there are dumbing it down for people? How many of you out there are dumbing it down, just so you can fly under the radar of life? How many of you are making yourself small, not taking up space, and then you want to say you're a victim of something? They're not kind to me, these things keep happening to me. I keep, being involved with the wrong people and the wrong relationships. And there's a pattern here. Yes, there is a pattern here. Do you know what the pattern is? The pattern is that every time you say yes to someone or a situation and you invite them into your life without telling the truth of who you are setting yourself up to be hurt. No one can come into our lives without us opening the door for them. No one can violate our boundary without us erasing the boundary. Going, sure, come in. I'm a doormat, use me. Now, some of you don't want to admit that, and I understand that. But the reason why you allow these things to happen is because you're not being honest about who you are. And when you're not honest about who you are and what you're capable of and what you deserve, you can't defend it. You can't own it. You can't live it. So we're afraid of the truth because the truth will say, I'm always responsible on some level for what happens to me in my life. I'm the one choosing these horrible people, these terrible relationships, these toxic situations. I'm the one that's choosing to settle in life. I'm the one that's silencing my own voice. I'm the one putting myself in the corner rather than taking up space because I want this situation so bad that I'm willing to hurt myself. I want this other person so badly I'm willing to hurt myself. I want this money so bad that I'm willing to go to a job that literally makes me crazy, that is a damage to my mental health, my physical health, and my emotional health. I'm willing to do these things because the truth is I don't love myself enough. This is why people fear the truth. I mean, I get it. I get it. But then you cannot say that you're the victim of something. I mean, you are, but the something is yourself. There's too many avenues of help for you to be honest about who you are, for you to change the things that you don't like, for you to own your voice, for you to live the life that you were born to live, for you to surround yourself with positive people and situations. There's too many options out there for you to be living your truth than for it to be acceptable for you to say you're a victim of something. At any time you could change. At any time you could choose you. At any time you could choose the truth. Not just, knowing it long enough to set it on the back burner. Not just knowing it long enough to deny it, but knowing it long enough to breathe it in. Knowing it long enough to feel the uncomfortableness that comes with the truth. Knowing it long enough to make the adjustments you need to make in spirit, mind, and body to breathe life into the truth of who you are and live life from this place. No one else can do that for you. And I promise you, if we're working together, I'm going to give you all the tools, all the knowledge, all the skill, everything I have for you to be truthful and for you to live your truth and for you to be authentic. Why? Why is it important to be truthful and authentic? Because you said you wanted to be happy, right? Who's happy in a lie? Truth, happiness, soulmates, so to speak. They go together. They're intertwined. You cannot be happy without telling the truth. You cannot be happy without living the truth. That's what the alignment is. Truth, alignment, happiness, all these things. I swear some of y'all are like, oh my God, I just really want to be happy. But do you? What if I say happiness will cost you living your lie? What if I say to have the relationship you want, you got to let go the toxic one that you have? What if I say on the road to meeting the love of your life, you have to be alone and fall in love with yourself first and understand that's truly the love of your life so that you have the right judgment in bringing in someone to that love affair with yourself. See, right now I can already hear the what happened was no, excuse. Life's hard. It gets harder the more you lie about it too. When you get sick of yourself long enough to love yourself? When do you get sick of lying to yourself long enough to tell yourself the truth? You want to heal, but you're feeding the hurt. You want to align, but you wake up and choose, the fantasy every day. You want the truth, but the moment your ego gets slightly twinged, you run to denial. That's not anyone else. That's no one else's fault. That's you. You're the one choosing it every single time. Truth is constant. Truth is ever present. Truth is, omnipotent. Truth is extremely powerful. Who would you be if you just told the truth of who you are right now? perhaps the greatest version of you you've ever lived. Perhaps more powerful than you thought you had any right to be. Perhaps you would be happy. Imagine that. Tell yourself the truth. Begin to live your truth. Begin to deal with the consequences of living in truth. Work through the parts that are unsavory and free yourself. Free yourself. Okay, so that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for listening. Once again, if you are enjoying these messages, make sure you're hitting the like button on this. And if you're enjoying the weekly messages, make sure you're subscribing to the channel so that you get notifications that, hey, Monica's coming to hurt my feelings again. Oh, not your feelings, just your ego. I'm actually advocating you possibly more than you might be advocating yourself. Just saying. Also, if you are interested in getting a reading with me, a Reiki healing session with me, a Lightworker mentoring session, make sure that you go to my link, www.conduitofhealing.com/appointments. Get your free consultation. Let's talk about it first, and then let's book something. All right? Thank you so much. Mwah. I will see you next week. Until then, embrace the truth. Namaste.